The situation on the ground in Ukraine is heartbreaking. Innocent civilians are being killed indiscriminately. Russia is inching closer to the capital city of Kyiv. But today, Ukraine's President Volodymyr Zelensky spoke via video link to a packed British parliament and said the people of Ukraine will not give up. Watch this.
The question for us now is to be or not to be. Now I can give you a definitive answer. It's definitely yes to be. We will not give up and we will not lose. We will fight till the end at sea, in the air. We will continue fighting for our land, whatever the cost.
Oh, at the same time, U.S. intelligence says Putin, he's not giving up, and the threat of nuclear war is very real. So what now? We're 2 weeks into this bloody battle. Families are being separated as men are left behind to fight for their country. Women and children are getting the hell out of Ukraine as quickly as possible. The UN says more than 2 million people have fled, half of them being children, of course. So how does this war end? Joining me now, live from Ukraine, Ukrainian parliament member, it's Maryan Zablotskyy. Maryan, welcome to the show. First of all, how are you doing? How is your family doing?
We are fine. My family is just right next to me, so we are staying in Ukraine and helping to supply our forces.
Okay, and how long will the people of Ukraine fight like they've been fighting against Russia? How long can that last?
Forever. We have a very difficult history with the Russians. They have been invading us for decades, and now they unfortunately chose to do this again. So this is a total fight for freedom, and the president is correct. Every single Ukrainian is committed in an all-in fight to win our freedom. This is an all-in fight.
Do you think that Vladimir Putin and Russia underestimated the will to fight in Ukraine because they promised the international community overtaking the country would only take a couple of days, and here we are 2 weeks into it?
Well, definitely. They significantly underestimated us. I think they believed their own propaganda that somehow they would be our saviors or whatever crap that they actually believed in. Of course, instead of being met with flowers, they were met with bullets. And that's what continues to happen in every single city, even in mostly Russian-speaking cities. Nobody wants them here, and I'm sure that they will be kicked out.
And, you know, obviously it will give them pause if they're thinking about trying to do this with other countries, which is the fear in your part of Europe that Russia, you know, if they in fact make purchase on a large part of Ukraine, that they will, excuse me, they will keep going into other countries. And, you know, if they see the Ukrainian resistance, they will probably stop and pause. Do you know if information, speaking of propaganda, is the truth getting into Russia? Have you heard from people there? Are they accessing information, and if so, how?
No, Russia is tightly controlling all the media. And unfortunately, they have been successful enough in convincing roughly 65% of Russian population to support invasion of Ukraine. And currently, as we understand their mentality and we see and hear what Putin actually is saying, he's laying territorial claims also on Moldova, on NATO members of the Baltic states. Mm-hmm. This will definitely not stop in Ukraine. And unfortunately, I think we are at the moment when Hitler invaded Czechoslovakia or Poland. Yeah. You kind of hope that it stops on these countries, but it definitely won't. There are roughly 3,000 American volunteers already coming to Ukraine's foreign legions. Putin is laying claims on other countries. Unfortunately, this is turned into a global conflict.
Yes, and we've seen a lot of people in this country and in the West flying over there because they want to help. They want to do whatever they can and be hands-on. But there are a lot of Americans who are very worried about a no-fly zone when it's enforced by the United States, because if the U.S. has to shoot down Russian planes, then we are now in a conflict with a nuclear power. And you understand why the rest of the world doesn't really want a nuclear holocaust, yes?
Of course. And I think that's what people thought when Hitler again invaded Czechoslovakia and Poland. In the first weeks of that period, people were kind of weary of more intensive action. But unfortunately, I think this is inevitable, and this unfortunately will end up with this. And the Ukrainian struggle has shown that Russians are not that scary at all. Look, we spent on our military $4 billion. Russians spent $40 billion. US has spent $650 billion. If we are not afraid of them, if we were able to stop them, then definitely Americans should not be afraid of them. They are not as scary, trust me.
Yeah, nukes aren't really something to screw with, though. I agree with you. I don't think the Russian military has been nearly as impressive as advertised. I think the world looks at Ukrainians and they marvel at their strength, their will to fight, and their desire for freedom, which we share with you. So continued safety to you and your family, and we'll check in with you again. Thank you very much, Maryan.
Thank you. Thank you for your support.
Absolutely.